Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the KAIZEN Spotlight, where we have these wonderful conversations with KAIZEN champions. And joining me today is a true KAIZEN champion, a person who has walked the talk and who has been driving some fantastic improvements in his organization, Parason. So, a big warm welcome to you, Madhur. Hello, how are you doing?
Good, good. Thank you, Jen. Nice to be here.
Thank you very much. And it's absolute pleasure to have you on this conversation. And for the benefit of my viewers, I would like to formally introduce Madhur. Madhur is the future of Indian manufacturing. He's all of 28. He's the director for operations for his company, which was established by his family, by his father about 40 years ago. And they're one of the global leaders in manufacturing certain components that go into manufacturing of paper. And this is equipments which are very important in digesting paper pre-preparation. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah.
Right. So paper manufacturing has different stages, but one of the important stages is where you digest and you prepare the pulp, which then goes into drying and paper making. And Madhur is, of course, a mechanical engineer, not difficult to guess because they are in very hardcore mechanical engineering as an organization. He also holds a master in business administration, both of which is from Phoenix, Arizona, a very interesting place in America. And since he has come back from his formal qualifications, he's been part of the operations team as a director for this company, driving the growth, and they have expanded into acquiring a plant in Sao Paulo in Brazil. And of course, their components and products are exported all over the world. How many countries would that be, Madhur?
So that's 63 so far.
63 countries. So thank you again. And the first sort of reflection I would like to ask you, the first question is, what about Kaizen? What about continual improvement really appeals to you at an individual level, as Madhur, as a human being, even before we talk about business? What appeals to you about Kaizen?
Yeah. Thanks, Jen, for the wonderful introduction. That was really nice. I still remember our first meeting, where we met, and the perception you gave us about managing certain things, especially operations part of the business, was completely different than what other consultant would tell us. So previously we had few consultants, who would talk about what kind of tooling you should use, what kind of automation you should do, what kind of HR you should have. But I think since we started working with Kaizen, we have learned how to develop the culture. So culture of the organization is very important, and that you cannot just buy out of the market like you buy any robo for your automation or automating the process and stuff like that. So continuous improvement, not only in your processes, not only your information flow, cash flow, or product flow, the continuous improvement of the culture is, I personally believe that is a very important part of this drive.
Fantastic. Very well said, sir. Thank you so much. And, I was just, you hit the nail on the head. Just last morning, I was talking to some seniors from a petroleum company, and I told them that when you visit an organization, for example, like Toyota, maybe you can take a camera and take a few pictures of their 5S and layouts, but there is no way you can capture the culture on your camera, right? It has to be built, it has to be experienced. So thank you very much. So please do share a little bit about your journey, operational excellence journey. You said you remember I remember too, our first meeting at one of those five-star hotels early in the morning when you brought in the entire senior management leadership, and we talked about why operational excellence. That was the real, starting point. How has been the journey since then? It's about 2 years now.
Yeah, so it's, I think, almost 2.5 years. I think lockdown ate away almost last year. We are in sprint 3. And what I have seen is year 1, it took the whole team to digest. There is something like this. And, these guys can talk about right from operations manufacturing up to the strategies of the business, how to have a vision, what mission we should have, how we should drive it, how to reach that vision and mission up to the very last person in the organization. So everyone's contribution is going towards your bigger vision of the company. So first year was, getting everyone on the same page. We are 9 plants over here. We are more than 1,100 people working in this premise. So it was really time consuming for us to reach to the every person in the organization. Year two, everyone was knowing the terminology. They knew the language. They knew what is the 5S, what are those 5S stands for, what is AM, what is PM, what is fulfil SMED, what is TPT. All these projects we drive in year two, people were like really accustomed, and a lot of guys would say that, this is what we wanted and we should have done this long back. Another byproduct of this sprint, especially in year two, is that a lot of hidden talent came out of my team.
Very
so a lot of young people who were just sitting there and waiting for that right day to come in their life where they'll get promoted, or their real potential would come out. So I think during this drive, I could see a lot of new leaders has been developed. So I believe average age of my plant in charge today is less than 30.
Wow.
So I believe Kaizen gave us that. Really young and dynamic leaders are driving our plants. They have all the required soft skills. They have risk-taking appetite. They are on the toes. They want to do something on their own. They want to show to the world, just like me, that they are worthwhile to spend, all this training and investment on them.
Fantastic. Very well said, Madhur. And I think you brought out something very interesting, and that is how hidden talent gets, when given an opportunity, it's like blossoming of, a flower. And so very nicely pointed out, because when people are given responsibilities and given opportunities, they can really, perform. And I totally agree. In a journey like this, you not only find some fantastic unpolished diamonds, or hidden diamonds, you also find some people who talk a lot and do nothing, so you also find
so it's like a samudra manthan, all the goods and bads would come out, but that is very important for human evolution. So if you want to evolve the organization, you have to go through this process.
Correct. And as you know, there is two elements of this journey of excellence. One is, of course, making the improvements, identifying what you want to improve and making those improvements. On the flip side is what we call as daily work management, because what you do daily and what you sustain daily is a very important, requirement for, because if you win daily, you win weekly and you win monthly, right? So what has been your experience with daily work management? How has that contributed to the culture building?
Honestly, we are still working on that part, because as I told you, we have 9 plants and we have initiated all these projects, EWM and everything in all the plants. So I see some of the plants have really took off really well, but some of the plants we still need to, train them more, push them more so that they do this on daily basis. So definitely I have seen a good improvement in terms of our inventory levels, in terms of quality, in terms of leadership, in terms of productivity. When they meet daily, they discuss their problems daily, they come out with solutions daily. So a lot of work delegation is also happening at that stage, and less problems are coming on my table, But at the same time, I believe that some plants or some premises of ours, they still need to, get there. And I think it's a continuous process. And the most important thing I would like to mention here is that the top-bottom approach is very important. As long as you have someone from the topmost management involved in this drive, then and then only it will become successful. So it is not only with the consultants or the managers or HR or Kaizen coordinator. It lies with the soul of the company, the promoters of the company, the top management of the company. As long as their interest is there, as long as they're involved, you will see some sort of development on daily basis.
Very well said, sir. There is nothing more important than top management commitment. And in your case, it's been very visible. And I really congratulate you for having for being the torch bearer of this journey. And you have stood very strong. And absolutely, this is a journey. If somebody says that this is a program for 2 or 3 years, you do it, and then no, this is the way of life. This has to, like yoga has to be a way of life. It cannot be for 3 years, right? The same way, I think this is very important. Okay, so all of us, it's impossible to talk about business today without referring to the elephant in the room, the pandemic. Corona has, of course, caused a lot of disturbance, continues to do it, and I hope the next year we will be able to deal with it better. Um, because of all the improvements you have been doing, when you reflect, do you think there has, you were a little better prepared as an organization to deal with this COVID situation? Do you think that gave you some edge?
I think this is very important question because I have attended one of your webinars in this
Yeah,
during the pandemic, and I really like the point of view you gave in that webinar, that every organization was hit in the same way. So lockdown
correct.
was for everyone.
Yeah,
The logistics were disturbed. So this pandemic hit everyone in the same way. But
right,
now the question is how these players would react to this pandemic. So the
correct,
response time, the reaction to this situation will be different for your competitors and for other industries.
correct.
Personally, what I believe, right after this lockdown, when we had our first workshop
Yeah,
with one of your consultants,
yeah,
I feel that because we had systems in place,
uh-huh,
first we could fight it in better way because we had that structure in place, and then we
yeah.
could step up and come to that level in very short time.
Okay,
So we had safety things in place. So we had safety audits, we have 5S audits. So we could include those temperature measurements, sanitization, frequently do this, frequently do that. So since we had that structure, we could just plug in all these new norms set by
yeah,
COVID-19, and then we could
yeah,
get there. And then we could get there. So not from safety and 5S point of view, but up to the productivity level point of view, we could, cope up really well because we had all these things in place.
quick ramp up. The
Yeah.
rebound was very quick,
Yeah.
very good. So in hindsight, if you had not probably been on this journey, maybe the suffering would have been a little more, longer, or more
I mean, I
difficult to.
think bringing all these plants at same level, or talking same language, or following same norms, or there would have been a lot of disparity, among, because
Correct.
everyone have their own way of dealing with things.
Correct. Absolutely. Our Kaizen Spotlight series, which is an interview which normally about 12 to 15 minutes, because, people have very small patience. The level of patience to listen to something is very, so I will go into probably my last question. I would love to come back to you on a part two, version of this. But, you are among, I think, from all the opportunities I've had to talk with Kaizen champions across various countries, you are among the youngest, people under spotlight. And as a young emerging business leader in India, I really want you to, give your views, some insights about the role of youngsters, in building their organizations, and you had to operate under a typical family. You have the seniority, you have the internal equations, the family dynamics. You have been able to manage all this. So what, as a message would be for Indian, especially family owned youngsters, how does, picking your operational excellence journey, how does this add to your strength as a leader? Can you reflect on some of these things?
I mean, I can imagine, especially country like India, where we have a lot of family-owned businesses,
Yeah,
and there are multiple generations: first generation, second generation, third generation, fourth generation coming into the picture.
yeah,
So every time there is new generation coming into the business, it's bound to have a lot of changes in it, because new
correct,
guys will come up with new ideas. They want certain things their own way. So we also faced this kind of situation where we wanted a very techno savvy team with us, who operates computer software, SAP, this, that, and everything should be automated. But the kind of business we are in and kind of atmosphere we have is completely different. But
correct.
since I think 2016, I moved back to India, and 2017, I started working with Kaizen. I
Yeah,
think the only reason I can handle this director operations position is just because of Kaizen Institute. because I still believe even if you are a Sachin Tendulkar, you need a good coach.
Yeah.
Professional help is always required as long as you thrive to grow. So I personally believe that where we started and where we are today, the majority and the lion's share would definitely go to Kaizen Institute, to you, to Tyagiji and the whole team, Mr. Grover, obviously. So people will learn eventually, right? People will figure out their ways. The only question mark is time. So we will grow, we will get there. But the question is how fast. And on that way, how much competition you would face and how fast you get there, how sustainable your growth is, that is most important. So I think since we have started working with Kaizen, we have been focusing on sustainable growth. So we don't want to grow very fast and then come down and then again grow. So that's a very risky situation to be in. We want to grow, sustain, grow, sustain, grow, sustain, and that's the way I think we have adopted. So as a young leader, I would definitely say that people, young leaders will get experience. They will, grow their organization. They definitely have that DNA, RNA in them. They have a risk-taking appetite. They will do great. But if you have a shield of professional help with you, then it becomes a calculated risk. Then you have industry experts who are working from different backgrounds, which will who will add their experiences to your kitty. And whatever you do in coming days will have more chances of success. So I believe to all young and dynamic leaders that you should definitely seek professional help. It's not about what is the consultation fees of certain institute or what is the charges or whether it's worth or not, but what changes you do throughout the journey, how you evolve yourself and your organization. I think that is what is the priceless thing is.
Absolutely. And Madhur, one more very important question. You see, when in family-owned businesses in India, I think it's also in many other countries. I am very worried when youngsters come and take positions and they don't go to the Gamba. They don't want to understand the reality, and they want as a right. They want the title of a director or whatever, and they want to operate from a very nice, say, corner office. So you have been on the Gamba. So how has been your learning and how critical it is to go to the Gamba and go to the trenches, as we say?
I mean, I can't imagine sitting at this chair without going to Gamba. So after 10th standard, I did diploma in mechanical engineering. So that was quite a hands-on kind of a workshop for me, where I learned all these different trades that are being used in manufacturing industry. And every summer vacation, 3 months, I made sure that I go on the Gamba and work with the workers and operators. Unless you walk in their shoes, you won't be able to instruct them, you won't be able to give them a direction, and you won't be able to seek right inputs from them. And unless you go on the Gamba, work with them, you won't be able to build a good team. And unless you have a good team, you cannot walk for longer. So, as they say, if you want to walk faster, you can walk alone. But if you want to walk far, you have to have a good team. And I think to build a good team, it is very important to be attached to the Gamba. And as you rightly say in the Kaizen pledge, my opinion doesn't matter. The only one thing matters is what is the reality of Gamba is.
Very well said.
Yeah, every time we make a good decision on the director's room, and if we have any confusion or if we have any conflict, we always say, my opinion doesn't matter. What matters is what is the reality of Gamba. Let's go there tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow we come back and make a decision whether we should invest in this new thing or not.
So fantastic. I think yes, please.
I think that's the most important thing, Gamba. That's it. That's
very inspiring. So I'm going to sign off with that very interesting statement that my opinion is not important. The reality of the Gamba is the most important thing, which is so well articulated by you. So Madhur, thank you very much again for sharing your time, and congratulations again. You are a newly minted dad, and it's the biggest promotion you can get in life. And please enjoy this fantastic new journey. Best wishes to your family and the newborn. And Happy New Year. We'll meet you again into the new year, probably with an episode 2. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you.